So example 3, this is just applications of law of sines, and both of the triangles that we're going to have here are going to be angle side angle or angle angle side, so the case 1 scenario we saw yesterday. And really the law of sines and cosines is really applicable in the real world because you can look at any diagram and find triangles within it to figure some stuff out. So in this particular problem, the map shows the path a pilot flew between Omaha and Chicago in order to avoid a thunderstorm. How much longer is this route than the direct route? So the direct route, of course, is 471. It says how much longer, so we're trying to find the entire distance from Omaha to turning point to Chicago, add those together, and then subtract 471 to get that difference in distance. How much longer is the route? So looking at the scenario that we got going on here, we can see that the pilot has a 22-degree angle here, 113 degree angle here, and a 471 mile distance there, which is an angle side setup. And my task is to find this value here, I'm going to call it x, and to find this value here, y, which is the size of the triangle. And in that case 1 setup, step 2 is to find the side measures. We have to first find the angle measure that's missing. So even though it doesn't ask me for this angle right here, I'm going to have to find it in order to find x and y. So I'm going to call that angle O for Omaha. So the measure of angle O is simply going to be 180 degrees minus the other two angles, minus 113 and minus 22. So 180 minus 113 is 67, minus 22 is 45. So this angle right here is a 45-degree angle. Once we know that's a 45-degree angle, now the law of sines comes into play. And the two sides we don't know, x and y, the side we do know, 471. So if I set up my proportion here, I put my 471 miles in the middle. I'm going to put x and y on either side. Doesn't matter which one's which, but again, I want the one I know in the middle. I'm going to put under x, x is opposite the 22-degree angle, so I'm going to put the sine of 22 degrees. Under 471, which is opposite 113, I'm going to put sine of 113 degrees. And under y, which is opposite a 45-degree angle, I'll put sine of 45 degrees. That's simply how the law of sines is built every time. You put the side measures on top, you put the sines of each opposite angle on the bottom. Okay. Your calculator knows the sine, cosine, and tangent, or sorry, the sine of all three of these angles, sine of 22, sine of 113, sine of 45. So sine 22 is 0.3746. Sine of 113 is 0.9205. Sine of 45 is 0.7071. You simply evaluate those sine values. Oops. So, once you've done that, now we simply cross multiply to find x and y. So if I cross multiply this, I'm going to get 0.9205x equals 0.3746 times 471. That's 176.4366. And that does not say x equals, it says 0.9205x equals. So to get x, I still require to divide by 0.9205. So divided by 0.9205. You calculate, if you already have a number on your screen, if you hit divided by, it usually says previous answer divided by, so 191.67 miles. Again, that represents this one. 191.67 miles. Okay, if I want to cross multiply here on these two, I'm going to get 0.9205y equals 471 times 0.7071. comes out to 333.0441. Divide by 0.9205. And that comes out to y is equal to 361.81 miles. And that represents this distance, 361.81 miles. So again, getting back to the original question, how much farther is it going from Omaha to Turning Point to Chicago than it is to go straight to Chicago? And if I add up these two distances, 361.81 plus 191.67, .48 miles is the total distance traveled this way. We take away, we subtract 471 miles, the distance straight across. 3 minus 1 is 2, 5, borrow 15 minus 7 is 8, 4 minus 4 is 0. 82.48 miles extra in order to take the safer route around the thunderstorm. It didn't specify about rounding. You know, if I'm the pilot, you know, 82 miles, 83 miles, somewhere in there, you know, that would probably be sufficient as a decision. You know, do I want to fly around the storm or not? Maybe the plane flies 400 miles per hour. It's going to fly 82 miles in about 12 minutes. So it's going to be an extra 12 minutes, but they go around the thunderstorm, so it might be safer. So it might be worthwhile to do that. Maybe it's not, maybe it is, I don't know. I'm not a pilot, so, but that's sometimes the decisions they have to make. How am I going to get there? And if there's a storm, am I going to be able to fly around it or not?